Good morning and welcome to Sunday service. Welcome to our friends online. We're glad that you're joining us this morning. What a great song. Here Comes the Sun. That's right. So I just invite you to open the service in prayer this morning. Divine presence, living and moving within and through all that is. We open our hearts to the miracle of this moment. We recognize that life itself is a sacred unfolding and that possibility is ever present. May our awareness expand to see miracles not as rare events, but as natural expressions of love, alignment, and truth. We are open to wonder, trusting that transformation is already at work in each of our lives, within us and among us. We're in gratitude for the miracles seen and unseen. We open our minds and hearts to receive the message Reverend Lynn is here to share, trusting it speak to us exactly where we are. And so it is. I'm going to invite Reverend Lynn to the podium.
That was beautiful. I love your prayers. Is this the season for miracles? Short person. Got to bring the short person down. This is the season for miracles, I do believe, and I hope you do too. We read about miracles all the time. We watch movies about miracles all the time. But do you believe in miracles? Do you think they actually happen?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
We have read stories about our master teacher Jesus and the miracles he performed, walking on water, raising the dead, turning water into wine. That's a skill a lot of people would enjoy. And all the miracles that are surrounding his birth. Some might have been metaphors, but I want to believe that most of the miracles he performed are true. That makes me happy. And I think history actually likes to tell the big miracles. And some of them are pretty big. They're huge, like Jesus's life and what went on, or the Red Sea being parted by Moses. Ooh, that's drama, so drama. And they give us hope. They give us hope in a bright future. They give us hope that tomorrow will be better, much better than today. But what about miracles that are closer to home or to our century? Because they're out there. And that's what this is about. So I'm going to be telling you a few stories. I hope you'll enjoy them. The first one, it comes from New Zealand. And the indigenous Polynesian peoples, called the Maori, can see across the universe from New Zealand all the way to North America, into Arizona and northern New Mexico. And what they do is they meditate, and they just get in this deep, beautiful meditation from the heart and from the mind, and they connect with the Hopi people in New Mexico and Arizona. And they're the native that wear the little knots on the side of their head. And the Hopi are very, very peaceful, very gentle, and very spiritual people. And what the Maori do is connect with the Hopi, and they discuss prophecies back and forth, and they make plans, and they do everything that they would do, but it's all in their mind and way, way far away. They've been doing this for centuries, and they still continue. And no computer, no phone, no in-person meeting, but they deal with it all mentally or from their heart. And to me, that's a miracle. I'd love to call my family way over there and just dial in. But this story came from a book that I've been reading, and it's called Living in Your Heart, or Living in the Heart. And it's by Drunlavo Melchizedek. It's a short read, but it's a very sweet book, and I've enjoyed reading it. And I believe we humans are miracles. Our planet Earth is a giant ball that is spinning around all around the universe, and it goes about 1,000 miles per hour, going in between everything and spinning around. And it decreases to almost 0 miles per hour when it hits one of the poles. And when the Earth moves around the sun, it's moving at about 67,000 miles an hour. I don't feel this, and I don't feel it when it stops. Do any of you? You feel it? Just like it just keeps going. When it goes around the Milky Way, it's 490,000 miles per hour. I think it's a miracle that we haven't fallen down by now, which is just, or that our oceans or our rivers and streams have not overflowed, except when you're in Oregon or the Pacific Northwest. They do overflow here, but in most areas, they kind of stay where they belong. I think it's wonderful. Um, our Creator, our Creator has a sense of wonder of everything, and maybe even just a little bit of a flair of the dramatic. When I lived in New Mexico, I was so blessed to be able to go so many places. And I visited a few places where miracles actually have happened. And I hope you feel the same way. The first one I want to talk to you about is called the Loreto Chapel. It's in Santa Fe, and it's just a little bit off the square. I know you guys can't see where I'm waving to, but it's where it is over there. And it's a very, very pretty little chapel. It's I tried every time I went to Santa Fe to visit, and it's just so pretty. It's just delicate and small. And these nuns back in the 1800s fought very hard to build that little chapel, and they're dwarfed now by St. Michael's Chapel, which is huge. But theirs is just darling. It's just so sweet, and that's the one I preferred to visit when I was there. And the miracle is about the stairs. They built this chapel, and they built a loft, or had a loft built 22 feet off the ground. And nobody could get up there because nobody could build the stairs. So the nuns, being nuns, sat down and they prayed a novena, which a novena lasts for 9 days. It's not just Catholic, it's also for Christians. But they prayed to Saint Joseph, the patron saint of carpenters, and they prayed for a miracle that somebody would come and build those stairs. And the candles were lit for 9 solid days. The prayers went on for 9 solid days. And on the end of the ninth day, a man appeared. And he was bringing his little donkey behind him. And he had his tools with him. And he came up to the chapel and said, "Do you have any work? I'm hungry. Do you have work and a place that I can sleep?" And they said, "Well, let me show you this." And they took him into the chapel and said, "Can you build stairs up here? Can you build?" Nobody's been able to do it. And he goes, "Oh, yeah, I can do that. Not a problem." So anyway, he went on to building and sleeping there and helping the nuns. And I think it took a little over 2 months for the stairs to be built. And the nuns came out, and there's this beautiful staircase. But he's nowhere to be found. They looked for him. They looked everywhere for him. They put ads in the paper to find him. They could not find him anywhere. And in New Mexico in the 1800s, there wasn't that many people in Santa Fe. There was more cattle than there were people. So there's no way he could have hidden. He just vanished. It's just the way it is. So there are 3 documented miracles that go with this story. 1, the identity of the carpenter. Who is he? And where'd he go? So, 2, it's the physics and the construction of this staircase. This is a helix-shaped spiral staircase that, with no visible means of support, that turns 360 degrees 2 times up 22 feet. And no nails. No nails, no support. It's just there. And it's beautiful. The 3rd is the wood, because even today, no one can say where that wood came from. Nobody knows where the wood came from. Nobody can date it to how old it is. The wood just is. And so, they think the builder was actually St. Joseph, which I'm sure you could figure that out. But that is what we believe, maybe. But to be able to prove with physics, where did this come from? How was this built? And it's still there, and it's beautiful. You can't go up anymore, but it's really beautiful to look at. And just these tight tide turns, and the nuns wanted their choir. That's it. They weren't going to accept anything less than people singing up on the choir. And it is a wonderful place to go. You can look it up online. You can see pictures, and it's quite a nice story. So the second miracle here. Most of everybody has probably heard of Lourdes in France, where Mary is known to heal people that come to pray. But have you heard of the Lourdes of North America? There's a Lourdes in North America. A little north of Santa Fe and east of Espanola, there's a very small weaving community called Chimayo. And the miracles here took place in what is now known as Santuario de Chimayo. And the story goes like this. In 1810, a man named Don Bernardo Abeta was out digging on his farm and different things, and he found this giant wooden crucifix, a really big crucifix, and while farming. And of course, the priest in town said, oh, we want that over here. Bring it down to the church in the town because that's where it belongs. Well, they did. They brought it down, and the next morning they got up and it was gone. And they went looking for it, and it was where they dug it up. And then they said, okay, well, we have to take it down. Somebody took this. And then they went back and took that back. They woke up the next morning and it was back in the dirt where it came from. It's happened 3 times. So they gave up and decided that the church needed to be built around where the crucifix was dug up. There's other stories that I'm not as well versed in that say bright lights were seen over the area, bright lights in the dirt and different things. I'm not as familiar with that. This is the basic story that I know. So it was so clear that the crucifix needed to be back where it was. And so the church is being built. And the first time I went there, my knees buckled. You know when you're in somewhere that's so sacred and so beautiful, you just, ugh. And that's kind of what happened to me. And I used to go at least once a year just to pay my respects. It's a beautiful, beautiful environment to be in. And it is a pilgrimage. It's a pilgrimage that people walk or crawl on their knees, actually, from the other side of the state, probably other states, just to come here on Easter to get a blessing from the dirt and the water that's in the area. And I drove my car. I'm not doing walking, but it's a very, very sacred place. And the Catholic Church doesn't want to acknowledge it. They call it a historic place, but the nuns took away, the sisters that run it took away their request to have it sanctified as a miracle because they wanted to keep people away. So, but while you go into the church, and right over here, there's this little room, and it's little, it's short. I mean, I'm short, and I had to duck to get in it. No chairs. You just go in there, and you're either on your knees or you're sitting down, and you're around a little hole, and the hole has the dirt in it. The dirt that is from, they call it the miracle dirt. And I knew I was somewhere very special. That's all I can say. You would have to go there to see how you felt, but it was a wonderful feeling. And when you're done getting your dirt, they don't charge you for any of this. You get your dirt, you can fill up holy water from the fount, many, many things. But as you're leaving that side of the sanctuary, both sides of the walls, adobe walls, ceiling to floor, all the way, are just covered with wheelchairs and walkers and crutches and pictures and rosaries and everything you can possibly think of. And it's all as a representation of the healings that these people have experienced in this humble little chapel. And it's quite a story. It's I still have my dirt. I still keep my holy water, and I hold it every now and again. It's a blessing. And sometimes stories, we don't know if the story is true, or if our telling of the story and repeating it to people that we love and our families, does that make it true, or does the energy come from that environment itself? Probably a little bit of both, I think. But it's worth a thought. Just walking the grounds at Chimayo was so there's a peace there. There's a calmness and a peace that you don't find in many places. It just kind of walk around. So, as I mentioned earlier, not all miracles have to be big in a chapel or anywhere. Just our world is such a miracle. So, butterflies. I love butterflies. They're so beautiful. They're so delicate. Did you know that the average butterfly weighs a half of a gram, which is about the size of 1 grain of rice? That's what and some are less, some weigh a little more, but the average is that. Monarch butterflies, being so little and delicate, they can fly thousands of miles, and just to escape the cold and to get food or to lay their eggs, to keep their families alive and growing. I think that's amazing. They sometimes it takes multiple generations for the butterflies to be able to come back and to bring eggs and different things coming. They usually fly about 19,000 feet in the air. How does something so delicate fly that close to the sun? That's my first thought. But they've actually clocked one little butterfly at 22,000 feet flying over the Himalayas, which I can't even walk them. They're off going. Butterflies, when they're around in our yards and our gardens, are a symbol or a representation of a healthy environment. So we want the butterflies to be here. If we have no butterflies, they're telling us something is wrong. And when I think of how sweet and delicate and beautiful, it's a miracle. It's a miracle of nature that these little creatures are so beautiful and can help us in such a beautiful way, pollinating our food and giving us a warning system. Hey, you better pay attention. Something's going on over here. Then, without a word, they just kind of flap on. There's another amazing insect, and I'm not a real insect person, but as I get older, I'm so appreciating the insects in our world and what they do for us. It's the bumblebee. The bumblebee. These little guys, their bodies don't look like they can even fly. They're not aerodynamic at all. But boy, can it fly. It really does fly. Science has discovered that it's not the body, but the wings that are so amazing. The bees' wings twirl and swirl and rotate, creating a mini hurricane, which is what gives them and their chubby little bodies the lift. Their bodies are so large, and they have to be large to carry the pollen. So they need as much lift as they can get. I was in my backyard, and I was watching the bees, and I loved it. And I thought, what are they doing? What are they doing? And I went and got binoculars, and I was spying on them. And these little bees were going in, and they're doing this, and they sat down on the flower, and they pulled their bodies backwards. And then they came again, and they pulled their bodies backwards. And I'm watching this like, really? And their little hair legs were so filled with pollen that when it got up, it kind of stumbled a bit in the air. Okay, poosh, and then it was able to take off to the hive. I thought, it's just so cool. It's either that or I have simple pleasures, and maybe a little bit of both. It's, these little miracles produce honey. And this honey has been known to be viable, even coming out of the pyramids in Egypt for so many thousands of years. And it's still edible, still healthy, and still usable. And not only are they wonderful producers of sweet, healthy honey, but they know their beekeepers. And they know them, they have a relationship with them because they're being cared for by the beekeepers. Their relationship is so strong and so tied in with each other that when the beekeeper dies, it's necessary to have a ceremony that's called the telling of the bees. Somebody has to physically go to the beehives and go, hey, your beekeeper has died. You're going to be safe here. And we promise that we will take care of you so that you can continue to live here. And it's really kind of beautiful in talking to the bees. Talking to bees. It's cool. I like it. So If all of that isn't amazing enough, it's well known that if the bees go by the wayside, that we're not far behind. They pollinate our food, they pollinate our flowers, they do more probably in their little lives than I do in my entire life with helping with the food and different things because, well, they're just little miracles flying around. I really believe all life is such a miracle, such a miracle. The small and the big stuff. When we tell stories of things that have happened in our lives or our past, or stories about dreams for the future and how things happened, it builds connection. It builds an understanding and also can help us make sense of the world around us. But that connection from the stories about our ancestors or our friends, it just builds a beautiful community because we know and we can feel our ancestors and our family around us. So tell stories. Tell lots of stories. Tell stories to your family, to your kids, to your grandchildren. Maybe even tell stories to the bees. I believe the stories we tell are wrapped and surrounded in miracles and magic. And I'm trying to remind myself of that every day that I live in a place of miracles. I actually choose to believe that. Don't have to, but I want to. I choose to, and I remind myself to, because all life is a miracle, and so are we. So I thank you for your time this morning. If you'd like to join me, please, in a meditation. Relax and focus on your heart. You can place your hands over your heart or on your lap with your palms face up, whatever is most comfortable for you. Breathe in through your nose. Imagine breathing in pure love from the universe, breathing that love into your heart. So breathe it in and breathe out gently through your nose, and imagine that love coming from you is growing and expanding out from your heart space. Let's do that one more time. Breathe in through your nose, breathing in the pure love from the universe into your heart, and breathe out through your nose. And imagine love growing and expanding out from your heart space. Just breathe a minute and relax. Now, excuse me. Now, with your next breath, breathe in and connect to feelings of joy, gratitude, or the presence of someone you love. Breathe that energy into you. Joy, gratitude, and the love of our family, our friends, our community. Breathe in and breathe out. And with every exhale, imagine the warmth of this loving energy flowing out from your heart, filling this room, our community, and Mother Earth, creating a loving space for connection with all that is. Breathe in and breathe out, connecting with all that is. Just sit in this feeling for just a few seconds. Breathe it in and breathe it out. And when you're ready, you can start to come back. Wiggle your toes, your fingers. Open your eyes slowly and smile. Open your eyes and smile. I'm going to read the donation. It's time. It's that time. And then Jen will come up and tell us a very inspirational story. I don't know where it came from. I'm gonna wing it. So, please put your donation through in your hands and just hold it with the love and the joy that you've just generated within yourself. And bless this donation, whatever it may be, knowing in your heart that everything goes around and it helps to keep this community healthy like the butterflies and doing well. And we give you great thanks for all of your offerings, whether it's time, talent, or money. It's all valuable because you are so valuable. And thank you for helping us to continue the good works that we do. So it is. Reverend Jan?
Quick question for you, Reverend Lynn.
Yes, sir.
Do you think that little guy who was flying over the Himalayas was a Buddha fly?
No, Jerry. I was wondering if one of them just kind of recreated themselves and came back that way. So yeah, it's good.
Oh, wow. Well, I'm not going to share an inspirational story, but I am going to do an announcement so that our friends online can hear these as well. We'll have our next Wednesday is our Christmas Eve blessing celebration. So if you've never been, or if you have, please come back. It is really, really a special evening, and we do anointing of oils, frankincense, and myrrh. You receive a little vial of gold, and it's just a really beautiful evening. We do Christmas carols and tell the story of the Magi. So it's really, really lovely. Regular church service time. And then this year for Christmas Eve, which will be the next Wednesday, we are going to do a celebration, a ceremony. And so we're going to have a fire outside, like a roaring, I'm sure Madge will get a roaring fire outside. She loves playing with fire. So, so fire. And then we're going to do some intention setting, and we'll have a special secret gift.
Yes.
So if you want to know what it is, come. It's going to be a really beautiful celebration. So Christmas Eve, Wednesday, and the next Wednesday, New Year's Eve. Yeah, so come. And you'll still be out in time if you need to go party on New Year's Eve. So. And then we'll do the rest of our announcements offline. 7 o'clock, both evenings, 7 o'clock. But get here early because it fills up.
There you go.
Yeah, it fills up. All right. Thank you for a beautiful message. That was really lovely. So I invite you to join me in our closing prayer. We're thankful for all that has been shared this morning, and we receive it, and we carry this wisdom with open hearts, allowing it to deepen and take root within us. May the insights awakened here move through us into loving actions into our lives. We trust that the miracle continues beyond this moment, unfolding through us as we go every day. And so it is. Thank you to our friends that joined us online. We're glad that you're with us. From our heart to yours. See you next time. All right.